All right, let's talk about the video I just put up, conflicts and illusions files. First and foremost, I don't do spells, and I'm against spells, no matter what kind they are. There is no white spell or black spell or whatever. A spell is a spell, and it's not anything good. Nothing good comes from any kind of spell, because to a certain extent, when you do a spell, anyone who does any kind of spell, after some time, for a certain period of time, it might seem like it is working, but then after some time, the effects wear off. And once they start wearing off, you get an opposite reaction to what you expect. So it's not advisable to play around with any kind of spells in order to get whatever you want in this world. And I guess that is the reason why some religions have prohibited doing spell work, because it's not something which human beings should fool around with and play around with. So let's look, for example, and see, for example, what are illusion spells. I'm looking upon Google, and the kind of definition they have given is the illusion school includes what? What are illusion spells is what they ask. The illusion school includes spells that deceive the senses or minds of others. They cause people to see things that are not there, not see things that are there, hear phantom noises, or remember things that never happened. Among these spells are included invisibility and disguise self. As far as I understand from this kind of a definition, is that spells that try to make any kind of illusion is just to try and give individuals things that are really not there, and to think otherwise of what they really know. You might think something, you might have a truth about yourself or something, but then you start thinking otherwise about it. That's illusion spell. And then can illusion spells do damage? The only way that illusions can do real damage is if they are shadow spells. I wonder what this is. Or if victims believe so much in the effect that it appeared one way or another. And that's true, because what you think is what you manifest. When you start thinking about something, we have in our culture, the kind of culture I'm brought up, they say if you say something more than 40 times, it happens, it becomes true. Like when you want to manifest something and you want to change something, you need to do it at least 21 days, keep repeating it. And when you do that, when you repeat that, it becomes you and it starts manifesting. So in the way, when such kind of spells to create illusions have been done, it makes the person start to think again on and on and on and on, or otherwise, or in another way, you're made to see some things again and again and again and again until you start believing that what you're seeing is true. And when you start believing that what you're seeing is true is when you start manifesting that illusions spell. You bring it to life. So it's always best to watch what we are thinking. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's always good to be able to monitor what we are thinking all the time. Like there was another time we were walking down the street, and then there were some potholes, but there were shallow potholes. And then I had my two kids, the younger one in front of me and the older one behind me. And even before we reached that pothole, I was the thought of one of them might just fall into the hole kept repeating on and on and on. And I tried to shade it off, but it still kept coming. And then I held on to the hand of my younger kid who was in front of me, and I made her avoid one of the portals. But just as we passed that portal, I had a scream behind me, and when I looked, my elder kid had fallen into one of it, just as how I imagined it. God forbid may nobody live such kind of a thing, but I believe that was a projection from somewhere else. And it led to that kind of a thing. And I felt bad in a way, a little bit sort of feeling guilty about it. Because I was thinking I should have thought about it, and two, I should have been more careful with me. My other kid who was behind me, because we were in a very crowded place. So you see, when what you think is what becomes, what you think is what manifests. And that's a proof. It was a horrible experience for my kid in any way. But she didn't get hurt, thankful. I'm thankful for that. It was just that her pants got wet a bit. And we had to buy her new clothes and shoes. But after that, I tried very hard to be careful about what I was thinking. If such any negative kind of a thought came to my mind, I would just brush it off immediately and replace it with something positive. You can also do that. When such kind of negative thoughts seem to come to your mind, you turn them into something more positive, the opposite. Think opposite of what the negative thought is, because sometimes it's not what you are thinking, it's a projection from somebody else. Somebody somewhere is doing some kind of ritual, maybe. I'm not saying it's all the time. Sometimes it's just some people's habit to be always thinking negatively. But sometimes you can have somebody manipulating such kind of energy, and it's there is a truth about it, and it's real. Some people can really try to manipulate your energy in some way. So I hope God protects us all from all such kind of things, and may Archangel Michael always be with us for protection, and Archangel Raphael to help us with healing our inner child and our insecurities, so that we don't fall into such kind of negative situations. So you see, illusion spells normally is just something they just try to meddle around with your brainwaves, and it's possible. That's why we need to always be thinking positive things. It's not easy. It's not easy, especially with our times. There's so many negative things happening around. But like some religions, they advise people to think of somebody else. If you're having a negative thought about anything concerning your situation, think about somebody else who is in a worse position. When you think of somebody else who is in a worse position, you tend to start being grateful over what you have. And when you're grateful over what you have, you start giving positive energy out, and automatically it cancels out the negative energy. Although the negative energy might be lingering around it, and that depends on what the kind of choice you make. You have to choose whether you want to stay in negativity or positivity, and it's upon you. Now, when it comes to conflict spells, somebody somewhere, the conflict spells are meant to give you stress, to keep you under low vibration, to make you feel stressed and as if you don't feel safe in any way. You don't feel safe. And when you enter into such kind of a situation, you start giving up on the valuable things that you have or you might have. For example, if you have an opportunity coming towards you, you start giving up on it because of the conflict slave. And how do these conflict spells go about? An entity or a deity or something, or any kind of a negative energy is sent towards you. And when it reaches you, normally entities are sent on such kind of things, and then you start experiencing chaos around you, with yourself, with people, with your things. For example, if you are working on your computer, it starts getting spoiled. Or if you have electrical gadgets, they start getting spoiled. The taps get spoiled, or things get spoiled. And when things get spoiled, that creates negative energy. When it creates negative energy, it increases the kind of conflict energy around you, and people start quarreling with each other. You start feeling angry, you start feeling distressed, you start feeling remorse, you start feeling sadness for no reason. And you just feel like you are not safe, or you're not in peace. Peace is gone. And when that happens, you start giving up on what is good for you. Like, for example, if let's say it's between two lovers, they start quarreling with each other because of the conflict spell which has been sent towards them, and they keep quarreling, or sometimes it might just be they break up and then they make up, and then they break up and then they make up, and it's a never-ending kind of a cycle. Breaking up, making up, breaking up, making up, breaking up, making up, and until one of them just gives up altogether and they part ways. And when that happens, that's when the conflict spell really has reached its climax, and sometimes it ends there and it wears off after the separation of two people who really love each other. And for example, sometimes it might even be among family members. The mother starts hating the kid starts hating the mother or the father, and they start having different views about everything, and they don't agree on, they keep disagreeing about this and that, and then there is no peace in the house at all. That's the kind of a conflict spell which can happen. And during those times when you start feeling such kind of things, whenever you, for example, if you are spouses and you start feeling some kind of anger or remorse towards your partner, what you do, and if it's just coming out of nowhere, just like that, sometimes you might not know. You might just start seeing your partner as if they are not good, or they are not being fair to you, or whatever they are doing is not right, and you start being critical about whatever they are doing. And the other person, because they are not understanding what is happening, they also start feeling bad about why they are being criticized. Why is the other person not seeing anything in the same way as how they are viewing it? And then separation happens. So when it happens, so for example, you have a partner, when it happens, you just do the opposite. For example, if you feel like you're feeling angry with your spouse, what you do is you act. You don't react in that same way as how you feel. You do the opposite. Act lovingly, or try to have patience. It's very hard, very hard. It's not easy, but it's still possible to get out of it. And when you do that, you cancel out that spell automatically. It cancels out when you start being lovingly towards each other, when you start putting everything on the table, and when you start viewing things in the same way. You try. It's not easy. Sometimes the ego makes it very hard for people to get along with each other. And when you do that, the spell automatically gets cancelled. And because when you are in anger or any kind of negative kind of behavior or thoughts or feelings, you just invite the evil energy. You just invite the negative energy into your surroundings. But when you are in a positive kind of an emotion, and you are calm, and you just observe instead of reacting, you invite the angels, and when the angels come in, the devils just run away, because they cannot stay where there is light. And when you give positivity, light comes in, and it automatically chases them away. Sometimes such kind of things can also be you can just chase away such kind of things just by doing simple prayers to God. You still you make prayers. You have faith in God. You call upon the angels. You call upon God. You call upon your spirit guides to come and help you out. When you do this, when they come, they are light, and so they chase away the dark. They drive away the dark. And when that happens, you get your peace. So it's every time I just say it's important to have faith and to pray. Prayers are not just simple things, just murmuring things and mantras and whatever. They are very, very strong weapons which believers can use. You don't have to be a believer in order to make a prayer. But a prayer is one of the greatest weapons anyone can use in this world against any kind of evilness in this world. Just make a prayer. Even for the illusions, whatever spells, you just can do it. When you start feeling negative thoughts coming in onto your mind, you just make a prayer, and it will immediately be gone. Just make a prayer. So I wasn't planning to speak on the conflict thing in this way. I had something else on mind. I guess I will talk about that one later on. But I guess this is what I'm guided to speak on. Because many people right now are suffering because of such kind of things. And things are going out of control. And everyone is just suffering. So that's it. And I hope this helps somebody. And take care, everyone. Be mindful of how you think, how you talk, and how you observe things. Take care, and God bless everyone.